Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a great guest, my friend Joey Mayfield. He's from FBI Buildings down in Indiana. This is his second time visiting, and I wanted to get Joey on the podcast because he's an actual tremendous leader and a very good friend of mine. So today we're going to talk about vision and what that actually means and how to lay it out for our team. So let's go. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Thanks for having us.
This is incredible. Thank you so much for coming up. You're actually the first company that toured my previous facility and has now toured the new facility. So
It's definitely an honor. We're excited to come up today, so appreciate you having us.
now, when you came up, you had some real intentional goals for your team. You mind elaborating on what were you trying to get from coming the second time?
Yeah, so this time it was all around SOPs, Kanbans, Kamishibais, all with Gemba docs, and I feel like that's the next step on our lean journey is really going hard on that. And what better place to go than you guys? You guys are the top in the world right now, I think, in implementing that. So let's drive up and just really dive in deep to how it works.
Just quickly, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but can you elaborate the difference between the last place and the last time you visited versus what you're seeing now?
I think that the way that it looks matches more with all the hard work that you did in the last place. Because if you know what you're looking for in the last place, you did amazing things with flow. You obviously had the Kanban and the SOPs. Just the place was darker and dingier and just old, and so it didn't match with kind of all of the amazing things that you've done. Whereas here, it just tells the total picture. It all fits together. So you have the beautiful white walls and the signs, and the floor is crisp and clean, and it matches with all of the stuff you did with flow and your Minomi carts and all of the racking and improvement in the culture. So now it just all fits together in a package.
It's kind of like we were like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, and maybe we were trapped in that cocoon a little too long.
In the middle.
Yeah, we were totally trapped in that middle.
Sure.
I agree. I think that I see that.
Yeah.
And what we're doing hasn't really changed. It just became easier for us in the new space with enough space to be able to flow the product and sequence it.
Yep.
Otherwise, the work feels the same, but it's nice to have a different environment to be in and have a very culture friendly environment.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think that the way that it looks and how clean and organized and nice that it is, it helps backstop the culture that it matches what we say that we're trying to do and build our culture. Like if we say we're trying to build this vibrant, healthy culture, and then it's dark, it's dingy, the floor is, beat up, and it, cobwebs in all these little dark corners, it just doesn't seem to fit, and people recognize that. Whereas when they come here, it fits. It makes sense. I think it accentuates the culture that you already have.
Have you ever been on a lean tour where it ended in a gift shop?
Not as good of a gift shop as here. Yeah.
So for the viewers out there, we have a 3S area just full of crap that we want to get rid of the building. And it's at the last stop of my tour out in the factory. And so today I got this great idea to call it a gift shop. So I let your guys pick through it. They could take anything home that they wanted.
And you thought it was mostly a joke, and then my guys are deep in there, just ankle deep, just going after it. Like, this is what we got to get these things. Yeah.
It's so funny. Or anytime you go to any attraction and they walk you through a gift shop at the end, like it's like how you exit the ride or exit the facility or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually build a lane down the middle so that we can actually walk through it to signify like what it is, and But it's a lot. It's a big heaping pile of crap out there.
It is a heaping pile, but that's a good sign that you got sort going on.
Yeah.
We got a heaping pile of crap at our place too, but I'm always proud of it because it means guys keep sorting more stuff out.
So while I have you here, one of the things that I just really admire about you is your different style of leadership. You're definitely you're like the polar opposite of what I am. I'm the get the shit done, in your face, you know what I mean? Like no compromising. And then you come at it from a very different perspective where you understand the people a little more. You're paying attention to what they're saying. You're not necessarily trying to strain them as much as I do. And can you kind of explain how is it that you're wired that way? And
Yeah, I mean, definitely, naturally, I want to try to encourage and shepherd the people through there. And I definitely feel challenged by the community to create a sense of pull rather than to push, because I've definitely pushed in the past. I've been lucky enough to be introduced to Lean from Toyota 20 years ago. And I've pushed a lot in my career and just saw that it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And just this time saying, okay, the eighth waist is kind of the key. I used to make fun of the eighth waist. And then when I read 2 Second Lean, it just unlocked to me that like, that's what I was missing, that it's about the culture. It's about building up the people. And so I've really maybe gone slower than I want to, because I think I have all the same thoughts as you around what I want to see. I can be kind of a perfectionist. I want this to happen, but I've been trying to hold back and try to encourage them towards that. Sometimes I hold back too much and not give them that clear vision that we were talking about. But at the end of the day, I want to make people the center. I try to write that on my notebook every day. Make people the center, because it can be easy for me to make tools the center, to make that it looks as amazing as what you guys have, make that the center of what I'm trying to do. And at the end of the day, it's the people, them developing, them growing, their lives changing. So just keep reminding myself of that. And, I've been steamrolled over myself. So,
yeah,
kind of remind myself that, and like, okay, we got to take them on this journey. We got to teach them. So
you definitely come with a lot more patience than I'm built with. It's not that I'm an impatient person, but I will get something so far before I say, screw it, I'll just do it myself. And I feel like you're less of a screw it, I'll do it myself, and more of a I'll help guide you, if that's a fair analysis.
I would say that's new for me.
Okay.
I definitely can catch myself just doing it on Saturday when no one's there, so then it's just done, or do it early in the morning or late at night. And trying to force myself. I've been challenged by the lean community, just watching people, and maybe it's just the perfection of the videos that people post, and really in reality it's different. But what I see, it's like, that's the kind of leader that I want to be. I want to encourage that person so they come along as well. So really trying to force myself to it. It comes with a lot of mental strain and stress. I will be honest about that, because I do like see where you guys are at, like how many SOPs you were able to make in a certain amount of time. And I'm like, man, we made like 47, and you're at 2,000. So I do get frustrated by that, but then I try to rein it back. So it's definitely a balance between how much am I pushing versus how much am I trying to encourage and get them to where it needs to be.
Also, I'm the top dog here at this, so I can do whatever I want and no one's going to fire me. You don't have the same luxury working for, FBI buildings. If you do something that's totally outlandish, you could be let go. I mean, you could lose your job over it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I won't do that. But, I mean, that's definitely, I'm not the top dog. And, my previous boss, when I first started at FBI buildings, we were of the same mind on lean. And we kind of had this nucleus, and we were just trying to push, and just people didn't get it. And I've just become convinced that culture is the number one thing that we have to focus on as leaders. Because there's some things that even just this month that my team has come to me that they want to do. And that my first thought in my mind is, I told you that 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I laid it out and you told me I was an idiot and this was dumb and we would never do it. And now you're coming to me to do it. So I bite my tongue and I say, fantastic idea. That's awesome. What can I do to support you?
Yeah.
Because we hadn't built a culture of change yet. We hadn't built a culture where it's willing to just put blue tape on the floor and experiment and put Post-it notes up. And just try it, and it had to be perfect. And now we're building that culture where I think now they're open to trying stuff. And I just hadn't been a good leader in that way.
Through our tour out there, you and I were kind of having like a side conversation and talking about some stuff kind of outside of the group. And one of the things that we started to kind of discuss was vision, like setting the vision. And it's kind of been a topic this week in the Improvement Starts with iChat book club.
Right.
We're on my book.
Yep.
We're hitting up the chapter of painting a clear vision.
Yeah.
And you did a video yesterday kind of showcasing that. Do you want to kind of riff off some of the stuff that we talked about with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I try to cast the vision by sharing videos from you or from Tierney or from other guys, and say like, this is kind of where we want to go. It's up here, right? And then expecting them to be at the same place that I am, where I've read the books and I've watched a million of the videos. And like, I'm just so much farther down the road of where I want to be, and expecting them to kind of just grab that from 8-minute morning meeting every day and then be able to somehow visualize what that looks like in their area. I think they want to do it, but they don't know what that looks like. And so a couple of things that I've done this week is I just took a picture. I said, okay, we got to do that. So we did it, and it looked terrible. But at least they were hanging them up and they had a home, right? And then I was like, okay, now we need a standard that everyone has the same type of broom, same type of dustpan. So then we bought those and we got that up. Okay. And I was like, it's still not good enough. And let's do a shadow board. And I was like, it needs to be on this, and it needs to look like that, and it needs to have black paint behind it. Do that. And they freaking annihilated it. And they also said, let's make the color the same as our GPS tape locations.
Yeah.
So this might be blue over here, and this section, this department yellow, and this one green. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. So I gave them very clear, and then they improved upon that. And it just showed me, like, I'm not giving them clear enough vision, right? We're only 7 months in. I can't just say, okay, here's a Brian Myers video of their factory, go make that.
Yeah.
Because no one in their life has ever told them
How to do it.
go do all that stuff. You have the ability, like, if you don't like this workstation, you should fix it. No one's ever told them that before, so we can't expect to tell them 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and now all of a sudden the floodgates are open. They're like, yeah, I changed everything. They still feel locked in that they're not allowed to do that that's not really what we're looking to, or I can't spend money, or what if I make a mistake, or whatever. And sometimes we just have to show them, like, try this, right?
Yeah.
Or I took the video of the cart that folds so that it can make an L or a U.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, this is what we're talking about. Let's try that, and then they can get a feel for it, and then they can adapt it from there.
It's crazy though, because in true Joey fashion, exactly how I pinpoint you as a leader, you literally taught them each stage of the improvement. And instead of, like, I would often come into it and I would paint the end.
Yeah.
You know, here's what it looks like at the end. And sometimes I'm expecting them to be able to close the gap, right? You have where we are, where we want to be, and then they have to navigate. And you're like, just go in a straight line.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's this. And you basically gave them, like, one step, they learned. Then you gave them a second step, they learned. You gave them a third step. My patience level for that is not where yours was, but your method definitely works.
Well, it's because I only did worse than you, because I just shared a few videos or some comments around, like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if our factory looked like this, or we didn't have burn, or we didn't have struggle. And you connect all those freaking dots and then find your way there, because I was trying to do some kind of pull, right? But it needs to be more specific. Like, you were probably even better at showing them, like, this is what I want it to look like. Go execute on that. And I think I wasn't even giving them that much. So I've actually been trying to rewatch some videos and say, okay, what about that video makes your mouth drop? And for someone to say, that place has got it going on, and write those things specifically down, and then come up with pictures, images, standards for people to say, these are the things I want you to work on.
Yeah.
And then you can make some of those things yourself, your own. Because, like, one of the things I did is I bought everyone a drill driver set, a a circular saw, bit set, all from Milwaukee, so super nice. And I said, everyone needs to have these tools to make improvements at their area. So I spent like $8,000 so that everyone could have those sets in their physical areas. And then we debated for like a month. Do we make something that everyone is the same? And finally I was like, just give all the freaking tools away, and then tell them, you make something. It has to be off the ground, and it has to be hung up. It has to be ergonomic. You go make it. And then they come up with all these amazing things themselves. So there's definitely a balance between, like, go make this exact thing to hold all the tools, or this is what I want. It has to be off the ground. It has to be painted. It has to look good, and it has to be ergonomic. You go make that happen. And so I think there's a good balance there.
When we were in the last building, I used it as an excuse a lot to not do things,
Yeah.
or we would just do stuff that kind of was going to translate to here.
Yeah.
Let's not build that now. Let's wait and see what it looks like there. But once we got here, it was like the clarity of the vision got brighter.
Yeah.
And it got brighter because they could see everything that I've been talking about, the new break rooms, the showrooms, you know, the facilities. They got to see it all. And then I was able to say, this is the standard now, right? Before we were living here, now we live here, and we don't come back. And doing what you were talking about recently has been a big struggle point for us. It's stuff on the ground. And I've been out there all the time, and I'm like, nothing sits on my floor. And I literally say it just like that. Nothing sits on my floor. Get it off the floor. And they go, oh, okay. But it's like the ergonomics, the reason we're doing it. We're not just doing it because we want to be mean or whatever. We want to make money. We want their lives to be better.
Yeah, we have to be good about following up with the why. Like, okay, I said that when we were out there. This is why. Let's go through why that is. But then we've set that standard, and we can, like, let's do that. And I think people want to come to work and do what we're asking them to do. They want to do a good job, and we get to define what a good job is.
Yeah.
So they want to do that, and the clearer we can give them, the better. We ran a competition, a 3S competition when we were first getting started in the 3S. I wanted to ramp it up more. And so whoever won this challenge got extra PTO day.
Oh,
I
nice.
felt like a fairly good prize. And I made a rubric, like a scorecard, and I gave it to everyone. I was like, this is how I'm going to grade you. And they did everything on the scorecard, right? So it's like, it is obvious when you think about it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, we just need to make a new one of those, and they can go run to that. They can still have employee genius inside of that framework, inside of that vision. But we kind of know from our experience, like, nothing on the floor. That's why we're doing wheels. This is why we're doing paint. And instead of waiting a year, 2 years for them to finally click that, oh, now I get why we're doing that, I think we can give them a little bit more clarity on their vision. Do this, do this, do this, without being dictatorial.
I think that I get too fast, and then I don't. Well, I've been way more aware of the idea of, like, they don't know the journey that I've gone through in my head, and so I've been more intentional about, like, trying to sell the vision. Today is a great example. During the tour, I brought Sonny, brand new employee. I brought him with on the tour because he was worked here, but he's never seen that level, and it's like free training. You know, it's just a couple hours of his time.
I thought it was a fantastic idea that I'm going to steal immediately.
Yeah, take anybody. To anybody that's like lean curious, or even some of the people that are struggling, show them a bunch of people that are enthused about what you're doing, and then they automatically buy in. I've done it now with 3 of our new employees, and I'll just keep doing it for a while. I always try to grab somebody from here because they get to see a vision that I'm selling, but I'm selling it to you instead of my own employees.
And they might not have had all of the morning meeting training to know what all of those things are that we're referencing kind of implicitly and explicitly. I had that thought this morning. I was getting ready. I was like, okay, Cody and JD, they probably can't say the 8 wastes, and they don't know why we're doing some of these things because I haven't said it recently to them, and they're new. It's like, we got to figure out a way to get them up to speed quickly where everyone else is at, or they're going to get left behind.
One of the other areas that I want to talk to you about, and this is something that I've been struggling with lately, is Alex, my design engineer, challenged me. He said that I switch directions too much. And I thought, man, that's a really interesting thing because internally I don't feel like I'm necessarily changing directions, but he obviously feels that I'm changing directions. So, like, do you experience something similar with when you're trying to paint a vision and then switching the vision around a little bit?
Yeah, I think so, because for part of it, we don't know exactly where we're going. And we have a predilection to action, right? We want to action this day. We want to get going. And we have a thought. So it's like, we just feel like the best thing to do is just start.
Yeah.
And then it can kind of be a little bit like, oh, nah, that's not what we wanted to do. I think with cheap, small things, that's the right thing. Just iterate quickly. And as long as you can create that culture, people are okay with it. But I think we got to know, like, whether it's a time amount or a dollar amount, like, okay, we need to plan more. I think it's Toyota that says like 70% of the time should be planning, and then 30% is implementation.
I'm the opposite.
And I do poorly at this too, because planning seems like wasted time when it's like, I already know what I need to do.
Yeah.
But I think I even used the wrong pronoun there, right? Because I said, I know what I need to do when it should be we, because I brought other people in and I said, hey, I had this idea. What do you guys think? And it's too often. I have one gal that works for me. It's just super sharp, and she's not afraid to be candid, and she just gets me all the time where I do this, and she's like, you didn't ask me.
Oh, man.
You didn't ask us. And I'm like, oh, keep telling that to me because I need to hear it. Because she's like, that idea wasn't very good. If you would have talked to us, we could have told you.
Yeah.
And I think we have to at least make some of our switching. I think we could prevent. Maybe this is for you too. If we just stopped and we said, okay, I'm going to bring these 4 people over real quick. We're going to talk about it. And then they might say, hey, you thought blue, it really should be yellow, or whatever it might be. That maybe we would switch less because we brought those ideas in first.
For Alex, I think it's different because we're talking about like real strategy for the business.
Yeah.
He's designing product that we're selling to our customers. So he's essentially, he's generating customers for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we will talk about something. And with Alex, I'll talk more candidly with him about stuff. And then I may go home, sleep on it, wake up the next day and be like, oh no, we need a different shade of red. You know what I mean? And I come back and I tell him, and he feels like I'm kind of spinning him around. I don't feel like I do that as much to the shop floor directly. I spend a little more time kind of letting them simmer. Maybe I just need to think more like how, it's like it gets to the higher level and the strategy level, and then maybe my train of thought, my speed isn't as fast as it is when it's like a simple decision on how to hang up room or a Kanban card or something. Like those things I can just do. It's a very interesting thing, but have you ever, do you see yourself struggling in those two areas differently?
I guess for me, like when it comes to strategy, that's definitely where my brain leads. And I have like very stringent ways that I think about strategy. So I feel like maybe I'm a little bit more disciplined in what I feel like the strategy is, and I don't want to deviate from that.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are in a consumer goods business, so there's a lot more switching that needs to happen and reacting to what's going on. So it's hard for me to just call out from you a lack of discipline in your strategy. But, for us, I'm in 7 states with 40 crews. It's a business that's quite mature. We don't want to switch that fast when it comes to what we offer and how we go to the market. It's much more mature, so it's maybe easier for me to be disciplined as well. But as far as business strategy goes, I know in America from working at multiple businesses and going to them, we're not as disciplined with like, here's what our strategy is, and we, good Joey, when he was calm and not stressed out, this is what he said we should be doing.
Yeah.
And now anxious Joey needs to go back and reread that because it's okay. We figured this out. Don't deviate. So I don't know if some of it is, just like that gerbil in your brain is just saying, hey man, I gotta go after the next thing. I gotta go after the next thing.
Maybe it's just I don't understand the capacity, the throughput that they have in engineering.
There you go.
And you end up piling on things that you think are easy or quick tasks. And next thing you know, they're bogged down and the main task isn't getting done. They're working on some of the side things. And definitely since we moved here, I've been with Alex specifically. Yeah. I've been very aware of this, and I've been trying to make him stay focused on the big projects that he's working on and trying to take some of those tasks to other areas or do them myself. And it's like the shiny new toy, like we have a problem on the shop floor. I need it fixed right now. Let's get it fixed.
But he seems somewhat empowered to tell you that, hey, you're pushing us too hard or we don't have enough capacity for this. Maybe he needs the language around capacity because I think you just hit it, right? Like light bulb went off in my head, right? A little bit of capacity planning for engineering, like how long do some of these tasks take and the magnet board and like, I can't give them more things because they're already over.
Right. And they love to take on stuff because they're creative and they want to constantly like, I want to be involved in it. And they want to be part of it because they're engineers. And then they get so lost and they get so many tasks and stuff takes forever. And, I had a discussion with them when we moved and I was like, guys, like we have to change here. Like things are going to be different now. We're going to do stuff differently. Alex talked about it on the tour, some of the things they're doing differently, which I'm really excited about because for a long time they siloed everything and they took on too many tasks. So it's already nice to see them making some of those changes already. And with the capacity that we've created with the throughput, like it doesn't take us but hours to make a prototype where it would take weeks previously.
Yeah, and so now your level for how much they should switch and be able to get done is already gone up. Yeah.
So now I'm like, man, it would be really nice if we had this. I have a guy named Casey. You didn't meet him today, but he's really good at just like backyard CAD is the best way to self-taught. And I can give him a lot of the projects. So I've been giving them to him, and he gets them done real quick. He's like me. He just gets them done. So I was like, actually, this works out pretty well because he can get me the little stupid stuff that I want done on the shop floor. And it's a real weird balance of trying to like know what we want. Yeah. We want to be world class. I want customers to walk in and be just blown away. I also want people to visit and be blown away. And it's 2 different segments, right? Like you're probably not going to be my customer for my off-road parts. Right. But at the same time, I still want you to take away and go home and change and improve your team's life and everything else. And I'm also trying to like paint the picture for you guys. Yeah. Because I stole a picture from Ryan Tierney and Chuck from In the Ditch. This place looks like Chuck in the Ditch Jr. So it's like that. You take the shades of the drawings and the vision, and I feel very responsible for a lot of people's like vision of what lean can look like. Yep. And so I'm trying to hold it at that high standard, and it's just something that I'm working on.
Yeah, I've been trying to just map out the journey. Like I know all the things that we want to do, or maybe not all, but I know a lot of the steps that we need to take, and I'm just trying to be okay with it's a staircase, right?
Yeah.
When I was mentored by Toyota guys, you know, he said, you guys Americans are always trying to build an elevator to get from here to there. And it takes tons of engineers in 30 years. He's like, just build one step today and tomorrow one step.
my
and the
gosh,
next day another step and the next day another step. And it's like, okay, if I can place those steps, like SOPs and Kanbans, like that's a next step on our journey. And then, okay, Kamishibai boards. And if I can keep plugging those in, I feel a little bit better in my head that I'm not there yet. Because really I'm pissed that we're not already there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I see it on the staircase. Like I know it's going to be there and we kind of have it planned out and we're going to get there. And I think that helps me at least a little bit around like, I know we want to do it. We're just not there.
Yeah.
Yet.
You want to know what I've been doing that actually indirectly doing this. So, you know, there's all these things that we want to get to next. And so I've been starting on the things that I want to get done next and like demoing it and like starting a process. And then, you know, maybe in a couple weeks, I'll roll it out to the rest of them. So it's almost like I'm putting more planning into it, but I'm actually doing it. Today's a great example. I showed you my watch. I had like 7,000 steps at 7:59 a.m. And one of the things that we're struggling with is cleaning the factory. It's so big. Yep. And so I came in this morning and I want to know, like, if I take a dust mop and I was to just push it around this building, how long does it take? And instead of like making an initiative and getting everyone involved, I just did it myself. Yep. And it took me about 45 minutes to cover about 75% of the building. So then I can start doing the math. So it's like, I know what the problem is. Everyone's busy. I can't bring them all in on it right now. So I'm going to start. So at least I have like something ready. Yep. And then when it rolls out, if it rolls out, or maybe I'll just say, nah, this doesn't work. Yep. But it's just a different way of looking at like building those steps, you know, it's almost like doing a trial. Is this the next step? Yeah.
It's such a lean brag too, that by 8 a.m. you already had 7,000 steps because you've been on the Gimba so much. Yeah. Where else do you get that as your brag as a business owner?
It's such a dumb one, though, isn't it? I always actually looked down to see what time it was, and I was like, I thought it said 700, and then I was like, wait a minute, like, are you kidding me? And I was like, that's just nuts.
And it's from you or dust mopping, which is like the next layer of brag on the lean world. It's like so awesome.
It's so dumb, but it's like it's trying to like I've gotten most of the vision shown, but there's still so much more that like this isn't where we're stopping. And in my mind, what we look like, you know, even in a year from now is going to be absurd. And I knew what a year took, and I know what a year is going to take, and I know what taking the next level is. You know, I've mentioned to you guys, I told my team, like, I'm going to be more challenging here every day. And I have been. And they're like angry dads here. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't make me be angry dad.
Right.
But we need to talk about these things because this is how we reach the next point.
To me, that's one of the hardest challenges as a leader is we want to push for the culture and the standard that we all want. Yeah. And they might even agree, like they want that as well. But it's like, when do I come out as just the absolute jerk and like get after it? And when am I kind of that encouraging, right, servant leader that I'm helping and I'm coaching and I'm always encouraging them? And, you know, one feels like mediocre and the other feels like we're going to be amazing. But you want the best of both of them, right? You want the culture that the encouraging coach gets, but you want the standards of that. And I think we just have to flesh out what that looks like, you know, and that's been my biggest mental challenge, because I see like the success that you guys are, and I'm like, man, I want to be there as fast as you guys. Yeah. But then I'm maybe more on the kind of shepherding, coaching, like maybe I bite my tongue and I try to look for a way to encourage them to get there versus like, freaking do it already, let's go. But I do think I need to grow more towards, hey, let's go, make that vision clear. This is the new standard. Yeah. Let's get after it. Because part of respect for people is respect for what we expect out of them. That we do expect a lot out of you because you are capable. You're a human with dignity. Like that comes with good lighting and nice floors and safe environment. But it also comes with like, here's the work standard, and I want to get that out of you. And like you can grow and you can lead a meeting and speak in front of people and all of that. So, you know, again, I think it comes down to standards. What is our standards for our people, and then kind of pushing them towards those. But I struggle with that. If you have ways to balance that, like, I'm all ears, man.
Man, that's a really tough one. You know, recently I'll have the really hard conversations recorded. And I'm not doing it for like purpose of sharing, but I will share it with friends like you, right? Because I want you to see what the real looks like.
Right.
And I've watched them back, and in my mind, I feel like I'm a bigger dick than what I actually am.
Yeah.
And then when I watch it back, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, like I guess I'm not as harsh as I think I am. But there's no way that I could have got through life and got this far being a complete jerk all the time.
Right.
You know, but sometimes I feel like I'm a jerk, and it sucks. But like I have standards, I have expectations of them, and I'm making them very clear. And in my opinion, that's respect, and that's showing that I don't want you just to push a broom or just to do one task. I want your mind. I want you to thrive in your role, and I want you to grow. And it's not for everybody. And sometimes I think that I've been more active in coaching than ever, especially one-on-one, trying to give people one-on-one time with myself. And that has been tremendous and it's grown a lot. It's like if you could take Taishi Ono and set him on the shop floor with one of your guys for a day, what would it change? Everything, right?
Yeah.
So then you think to yourself, like, we're lean experts.
Yeah.
What if I took and gave myself to that person for a day? What would it change? It changes everything.
Right.
And so then it's like, okay, well, how do I make that a priority to spend time to do that amongst all the other things and all the responsibilities? Yeah. But that's a balance of like the coaching and the strict. Yeah. And I think that they respect you more when you have both. Because they feel like they maybe earned the nice version of you when they've, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I tell leaders, like, to be kind as your main modus operandi, you're going to be misunderstood as weak, and you just have to be okay with that, because you've chosen that I would rather be kind and respectful than, you know, to go off on someone all the time. You know, I used to work in a steel mill, so I've had plenty of MFers yelled at me before, right? So I know how that feels, and I don't want to lead that way, though sometimes it happens. So it's just, again, it comes down to that respect for people, and what does that look like, and that there is some strictness. And the more that you respect the person giving it, like if you came to my place of business and you just ripped me apart, I would love it. Because I'm like, I respect Brian. I know that he loves me, right? Because we chat back and forth on WhatsApp. We have a relationship. So if you came there and you said, like, this is not good enough, man, and you can do better here, and you should do this, like, I'd be writing notes and I'd be happy. Yeah. Because I want to have that feedback because I respect you. So I think, like, doing one-on-ones, that respect builds, and then you're able to kind of challenge them that way. Yeah.
All right. So I always love to end with a challenge.
Okay.
So action challenge. You've been here. You've been to my old building. What are you taking home, and what are you implementing like this week?
This week.
Or maybe next week.
I think it definitely has to be around Kanbans. Yeah. We started with some consumables, but I wanted to bring some of my production people so that I could say, like, let's push this into production. I gave them the idea probably a year ago or more, and they're like, dumb. Yeah. Never going to work. Totally stupid. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're there culture-wise. Let's see it. So we started our first 2 bin in production yesterday. Corey, who came on the tour, did it. So I'm going to challenge them. Let's give another 2, 3, 4 parts, and let's test it right away and get it done. And then I'm going to finish the Kanbans on the consumables this week and just get those done, so we can never run out of toilet paper and paper towel and Kleenexes and all that garbage again. Yeah. We've been working on that, and we're just going to get it done.
You don't want to make a trip to the Dollar General in the middle of your day?
I hate that. When you posted that, I was like, I have definitely done that to Dollar General exactly for all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's the dumbest stuff is when you run out of the simplest things. And in my instance, I ran out of a Q-tip that we use for touch-up, and I had to go to Dollar General to get the Q-tip so we could, not give a defect to our customer. But I thank you so much for coming and visiting a second time. I know it's a long drive. It's about a 3-hour drive to get up here, and you guys got up bright and early and drove up, and now
rain the whole way.
They rain the whole way. You're gonna grab some lunch and hit home and be home before the end of the day. But hopefully, you guys will leave inspired and
definitely
become change makers in FBI building.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I hope you guys found that super interesting, and hopefully you can put some of those into action this week. Also, we talked a little bit about my book. Just remember, it's still out there, the Lean Leadership Action Guidebook. Check that out. And I'll be in Ireland next week, so I'll probably miss a show for 1 week, but I'll be back the following week with some more content. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.